You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough as nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
Alright, this is Jessie. How y'all doing today? You know I miss you when we're not talking. What? You don't buy that one by now? Oh, get over it. Now, I have something special to tell you. What? I'm not starting with news? No. Well, for some of you this will be news. Today, the Friday before Mother's Day, and thank you, Ronald Reagan, for starting this.
Well, May 10th is Military Spouse Appreciation Day.
Yes, today is Military Spouse Appreciation Day. So, my show's going to be a little bit different today. Because guess what? Yes, I am a military spouse. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have stuff on quackers, stuff on everything else going on in the world. But we are going to take the first part of the show, and we are going to talk about the men and women who stand behind the members of our United States Armed Forces. Now, I can't remember which order these clips go in, so I'm going to play the second one first, and we're just going to hope this all works out, okay? All right.
They also serve those who stand and wait, praying by the foe to learn their loved one's fate. But they're still in the war, and let there be no mistake. They also serve those who stand and wait.
Yes, that was a clip from the chorus of a song by John Conley, They Also Serve. It means that the families of our men and women military fighting people, yes, they serve as well. And I've got clip upon clip upon clip, and audio upon audio that tells you the same thing. Now I'm going to play a little bit more of the song because it tells what it's kind of like being a military spouse when you're soldier or airman, marine, coast guard, sailor isn't at home.
She kisses little Katie's forehead as she turns out the light. A night ahead in a lonely bed, she's a military wife. She pushes back a tear, then sinks into a chair. Her mind says that's the way it is. Her heart says it ain't fair. She knows the price of sacrifice, but she's proud to take her place in that unsung corps of warriors who stay behind and wait. They also serve those who stand and wait, praying by the foe to learn their loved one's fate. But they're still in the war, and let there be no mistake. They also serve those who stand and wait.
Yes, the military spouses around this world, they do also serve. And trust me, as a military spouse as well, I've made meals at 1 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes not just for my husband, but some of his buddies as well. I've delivered energy drinks to a soldier on 24-hour duty who I wasn't married to, just to help him out. I've gone to the emergency room when a spouse was worried that she was leaking amniotic fluid to be there and hold her hand. Remember I sometimes tell you my military family comes first? We do help each other out. It really is a community all unto itself. Your civilian spouse, your civilian friends will never understand when you say, yeah, my husband's gone for a year. When we go into the movies? To a girlfriend. And they go, my husband's gone for 3 days on a business trip and I lose it. Yours is gone for a year or 9 months? I could never do it. Well, you can when you have to. And I have gone through... My first husband, as you know, was Special Forces. He'd be home one night, the phone or the pager would go off in the middle of the night. He'd be out the door before I even woke up. There would be a note on the fridge. Phone call, had to go, love you lots. There was no last hug sometimes with him. I know he'd give me a kiss in my sleep. Sometimes I'd vaguely remember it. Sometimes I wouldn't. My current husband, thankfully, is not Special Forces, so I know when he's going. I don't know the exact date of his return, but I can usually take a stab at the month, and in some cases the year, if he's gone for a whole year. I once told a friend of mine, he left in January, he'll be back in January. Meaning, he left in January of 1 year, he'll be back in 12 months. And they didn't get it. But they said, wow, that's a long time. We don't have kids, but for those who do, you've got to be both mom and dad. You've got to still run the house, take the kids to school, do everything that you normally do. Yet there's a huge hole in your heart, but you've got to smile and carry on. Ranger up, soldier on, suck it up. Fill in your favorite term there. You have to carry it on. For your family. In my case, it's dealing with other family members. I haven't heard from him. Is he okay? Yes, I talked to him the other day. Everything's fine. He just has spotty internet. It'll be fine. We don't write many traditional letters, but we usually exchange one before a deployment. I hand it to him about 10 minutes before I leave what they call the staging area. It's called different things at different bases, but I don't stay till the last minute because, quite frankly, I need a minute to pull myself together before I start hugging the other spouses coming out that door who are crying with the kids screaming and crying. So I stay till about 5-10 minutes before they're going to call it. And then I leave so I can have a minute alone, pull myself back together. And be ready to help the others. I've had to provide stuff to spouses. I mean, there's what we call Murphy's Law deployment of deployments. The car will break down, you'll run over the kid's bike, the dog will get lost, the toilet will stop itself up. All of this will happen the minute they walk out the door. Everything will be fine the day before they walk out the door. The minute they walk out the door, everything that can go wrong, I promise you, it will. So if you're a young military spouse and you haven't had to deal with it, get ready for Murphy. Murphy will come calling. So that's when you pick up the phone, you call your spouse friend, and you say, need help. And someone will come over with a plunger if you don't have one. Someone will find somebody with tools and help fix the bike or fix the bike. Someone will help you find Fido. Someone else will take the kid to school or pick them up. You just gotta, picking them up's a little bit more challenging. They gotta be on your contact list, but I'm on 5 different people's contact lists, and that's why I own a car seat. I don't even have kids, yet I own a car seat. I can't tell you how many times I've picked up said kid at school. Fill in the blank. I've gone to the emergency room at 3 in the afternoon with a spouse with 2 kids. Her husband was deployed with mine. And her 3-year-old was climbing the walls. Her 18-month-old was the one there to see the doctor. So I grabbed the 3-year-old and said, "Come on, kid, you're with me." I brought her back to my house, threw her a snack and some cartoons. She took a nap. And Mom knew where to find her when it was all said and done. But it is truly a very special community. And yes, I'm kind of going on a rant, because everyone remembers to thank the soldiers. And I will have to actually ask my soldier. Hang on. I'm going to play some bumper music real quick and see if I can get my soldier's attention for just a second. Actually, no, I'm going to play a slightly longer audio clip I have all queued up while I grab something, because I want to read it to you.
Good afternoon from the School of Infantry West. I'm Colonel Holt.
And I'm Sergeant Major Benton.
With Mother's Day approaching, it's appropriate that we take time to recognize the support that our mothers have provided and the countless sacrifices that they've made for our welfare and benefit.
In keeping with that sentiment, it's essential that we also pay tribute to the invaluable support that our spouses play in our personal and professional success. The military spouse represents the foundation and stability amidst the challenge of uncertainty that military families face.
Military spouses often sacrifice their own personal and professional aspirations for the greater benefit of the service family. With the substantial contributions that military spouses provide cannot be overstated. In addition to maintaining the family structure, they also provide exemplary service and leadership in educational, the community, recreational, religious, social, and cultural endeavors.
President Reagan, who founded Military Spouse Appreciation Day back in 1984, recognized the profound importance of spouse commitment to the readiness and well-being of military members, stating, "Military spouses preserve the cornerstone of our nation's strength, the American family." Semper Fidelis to all our Marines, sailors, and their families.
Thank you to all the spouses out there, and happy Mother's Day.
Now that was from the Marine Corps. Now my current spouse is active duty Army. And when he re-enlisted, I was also honored. Yes, I was honored. I was handed a certificate at his re-enlistment that says, "On the occasion of the re-enlistment of your spouse, I wish to extend to you my personal gratitude and appreciation of the United States Army for the assistance you have provided during the Army service of your spouse. The Army family is a special experience. Army family life is a special experience with its own unique rewards and challenges. I share your pride in the contributions you have made, and I trust that you will support your spouse's decision and objectives in continuing an Army career." And it was dated and signed by the officer that re-enlisted him. Now, like I said, I'm going on about spouses, but many, many people do not realize what they do. It's more than some of the things are the same as your 9-to-5 spouse. I grant you that. You still may make a lunch for them, but they probably take their lunch with them in a lunchbox, and some soldiers do that. So, I'll deliver food to a soldier on a 24-hour duty, whether it be my husband or another soldier. if his spouse can't do it because they have kids or whatever. And no two people have the exact same experiences or feel the exact same way. But I'm going to quote Taya Kyle, lone survivor, or Chris Kyle's wife. Let me see if I can get it queued up here. I'm trying to get the audio queued up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. But Taya Kyle said, quote, "I think I'm on pretty firm grounds when I say that we all share a sense of pride, patriotism, and sacrifice when we send our loved one off on a dangerous deployment. And of course we worry." And then she goes on to say, "What impressed me though aren't the sacrifices, but the achievements. Some of the things these people have done, remarkable things in their communities and in the country. Regular people doing remarkable things. Some of these things are huge, creating foundations and charities, running for political office, adopting 4 or 5 special needs children. But most are far less spectacular on the surface, yet just as vital. Whether it's the widow raising their young child alone after losing a husband, the woman who became a surrogate mother to her son's wartime companions, the dad who volunteered to coach his daughter's softball team. Military spouses are often the backbone of our communities. Why not? We don't want medals or awards, and we don't. Many probably don't want any special recognition. But the next time you see a service member with their spouse, thank both of them. Those words can mean a lot. Now I'm talking from personal experience. I see my husband get thanked time and time again. Most of the time I just smile and continue on. But you know what? Every once in a while, it would be cool if somebody remembered the spouse. Because we all do pretty interesting things. I've got one spouse that watches another spouse friend who watches other soldiers' kids, so their spouse can work. And as the previous audio clip said, the holiday was first declared by President Ronald Reagan. He coined the day to honor the importance of spouse commitment to the readiness and well-being of military members. By 1999, Congress declared May as National Military Month, and National Military Spouse Appreciation Day has been held every year since, every Friday before Mother's Day. And yes, they did something at the White House. Mike Pence met with people. Trump met with people. I'm not going to go into that. Military spouses have historically struggled to find jobs. An AP report cited a study said that those spouses are more likely to work for less pay in positions below their education level. That can spur unemployment and other costs that total around $1 billion. Blue Star Families, the study commissioned by Blue Star Families, said that military spouses had an unemployment rate of up to 18% at the time they did the study. That was compared to a 5% national jobless rate. The math is shocking, but it also shows the way forward, said Kathy Roth-Doquette, founder and CEO of Blue Star. If we work together to reverse the crippling employment trends facing military spouses, we will add money back to our economy. Now, unemployment has become such a problem that the government started the Military Spouse Employment Partnership. About 100 companies around the country have partnered with the program. And I'm going to name a few of them. You'll recognize every one of the names. AT&T, Amazon, Starbucks, Walmart, and Home Depot. Now there's more companies, but those are the ones named in the article. And military spouses give up time with their loved one so that we may sleep in peace under a blanket of freedom. I don't care what you feel, how you feel about what's going on in Iraq or Afghanistan. I really don't. Just remember that everyone over there has a family that wants to see them again soon. Everyone over there has a mother, a father, a spouse, or someone at home who is likely wishing they were sitting at the dinner table, and they're not. And I know that a lot of you will never know. What a military spouse does. They do 1,000 things. Trust me. I'm always accused of running 90 miles an hour with my hair on fire. Army spouses are important to the Army family and contribute to the readiness by enabling soldiers to remain focused on their mission. Army spouses, they do 1,000 things. They run the house. There's an old saying, you don't tell a soldier bad news when they're downrange. You pick your moments. So, the Army does recognize spouses, usually when their soldier re-enlists, but not always. Also, I know at least the Army does this. Your soldier goes out the door, you have children, you're eligible for so many hours of free daycare per month, so that you can drop the kids off at daycare and go to a movie with your friends. Spouses volunteer across the military base. There may be a spouse working at the local USO. There may be a spouse leading a tour in a museum. You never know who your military spouses are. I know here on base, chances are the cashier that checked me out today at the commissary, the woman that checked me out at the commissary was probably a spouse. That man in line behind me may have been a spouse too. Not all spouses are women. And I want to extend a special thank you to every military spouse in the United States Armed Forces. Now, I'm coming up on the bottom of the hour, and I'm going to cut out a minute early because we're going to play both sets of music back to back before we take our commercial break. So I will see you on the other side.
She kisses little Katie's forehead as she turns out the light. A night ahead in a lonely bed, she's a military wife. She pushes back a tear, then sinks into a chair. Her mind says that's the way it is. Her heart says it ain't fair. She knows the price of sacrifice, but she's proud to take her place in that unsung corps of warriors who stay behind and wait. They also serve those who stand and wait, praying by the foe to learn their loved one's fate. But They're still in the war, and let there be no mistake. They also serve those who stand and
wait. You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
They also serve those who stand and wait, praying by the phone to learn their loved one's fate. But they're still in the war, and let there be no mistake. They also serve those who stand and wait.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me while I paid them bills. Yes, I even got to pay the on-air bills. All right, just as a reminder, you can find me on Twitter at Jessies POV. You can shoot me an email at the station, jessiespov@klrnradio.com. And I do have my notifications tab up as always. And Robinson and Wright will be up at 11 o'clock Eastern tonight. And they have a special guest, Pat Nicholas, who is a senior advisor to the Federalist Party. This could be interesting, kids. So, now, on to my regular show prep. And yes, I felt it was important to take time out to cover Military Spouse Appreciation Day. My show, my topics. Stack isn't as thick because I only had to cover half the show and I got a couple of them elsewhere. And I will say I'm not ending the show on taps tonight, which was a pretty big relief for me since today was Military Spouse Appreciation Day and I didn't want to think about the dignified transfer today. What's the dignified transfer? The dignified transfer is the process that starts every time a service member is killed in the line of duty overseas. It brings the body home all the way to the funeral, and that body is accompanied every minute. So, like I said, it's an interesting thing, and I didn't want to think about it today, so we're not. We're going to move right along. We're going to start with quackers. Yep, you heard him. North Korea Parliamentary Committee sent a rare letter of protest to the U.S. House of Representatives Friday over its new package of tougher sanctions. The sanctions were condemned as a heinous act against humanity by the Foreign Affairs Committee of the North Supreme People's Assembly. Okay, this coming from a country that doesn't feed its own people. The Republican-led House overwhelmingly voted May 4th to impose new sanctions which target North Korea's shipping industry and use of what the bill called slave labor. It's not unusual for Pyongyang to condemn Washington's moves to censure it, but direct protests to Congress are exceptionally rare. Pyongyang will normally express its displeasure with Washington through statements by the Foreign Ministry or other institutions or through representatives at the United Nations mission in New York. Staff of lawmakers on the House Foreign Affairs Committee said they'd not received a copy of the letter. However, Representative Brad Sherman, the top-ranking Democrat on its Asia subcommittee, who read the letter online, said it demonstrated North Korea's vulnerability to sanctions, that it was calling for the House to think twice about strengthening them. It's the regime of Kim Jong-un that should be rethink its dangerous nuclear weapons test, ballistic missile tests, abhorrent human rights record, and state support for terrorism. Sanctions will be tightened if North Korea continues these activities. Democrat Representative Brad Sherman said in a statement. Yo-Ho Hwan, a North Korean expert at Seoul's Dangguk University, said it's not unprecedented for the North to directly contact U.S. legislature or government. Pyongyang sent letters to the United States in 1984, calling for the opening of three-way talks between Pyongyang, Seoul, and Washington. But he said that Friday's protest was also notable. It was sent by the recently revived Parliamentary Foreign Affairs Committee, which was discontinued by Kim's father, Kim Jong-il, in 1998. The move to restart the committee was seen as an attempt to create a window for contacts with the outside world. Pyongyang has had its more than its usual share of criticism for Washington in recent months. It has been in high indignation mode for the past 2 months because of military exercises, and I will add the word routine military exercises, between the U.S. and South Korea that it sees as a prelude to an invasion. Now, this year's War Games was the biggest ever, and it reportedly included training for precision strikes and assaults intended to take out Kim Jong-un and his top lieutenants. The North also announced last week that it thwarted what it claims was a CIA-backed attempt to assassinate Kim Jong-un. On Friday, its Central Public Prosecutor Office issued a statement suggesting the United States and South Korea are harboring suspects and should extradite them to North Korea. As if, folks. As if we would extradite anybody to North Korea. And people, do I really remind you, do not travel there on your own free will. You may not come home again. So, North is shaking in its boots over the sanctions. The Senate would need to approve the new sanctions next before they could be implemented. The House bill bars ships owned by North Korea or countries that refuse to comply with UN sanctions against it from operating in American waters or docking at U.S. ports. Goods produced by North Korea's forced labor would be prohibited from entering the United States. I say, go Congress. For once, you might have done something right. And I don't often report on Congress, but on that one, yeah, I'm going to say good job, guys. Good job. Good job, House. Senate, get off your six. North Korea wants South Korea's spy chief extradited over alleged Kim Jong-un plot. Oh yes, Quackers is definitely quacking today. North Korean prosecutors Friday demanded the extradition of those they say plotted to assassinate their leader Kim Jong-un, including South Korea's outgoing spy chief and unnamed masterminds in the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency. The demand comes a week after the North sensationally alleged it uncovered a U.S.-South Korean plot to kill Kim with a biochemical, radioactive, or poisonous substance during a major event such as a military parade. The prosecutors on Friday said outgoing South Korean National Intelligence Service Chief Lee Byung-ho and unnamed masterminds in the CIA are among those they intend to prosecute. The CIA has just set up its special unit to deal with North Korea, and if you missed last night's show, that's where I covered it. Lee leads the South Korean National Intelligence Service, though new South Korean President Moon Jae has nominated a replacement. The prosecutors call for the arrest and extradition of those they say led or involved with the hideous state-sponsored crime. Hey, quackers. Yeah, quackers. That's about what you sound like. CIA can never divulge its responsibility for having masterminded a role in the crime, the North Central Public Prosecutor's Office said. Last week's KCNA, the official North Korean news agency, report claimed that members of the CIA and South Korea's intelligence agency worked with a North Korean citizen to plot to commit bomb terrorism targeting the supreme leadership, i.e. Kim Jong-un kids. and that the plot was recently uncovered and smashed. North Korea has a history of making unfounded claims. Let's get that straight, folks. I'm going to repeat that. North Korea has a history of making unfounded claims. If you don't believe me, just look at what happened to Kim Jong-nam. They claim South Korea and the United States did it. I bet my bottom dollar it was I would bet my bottom dollar it was Kim Jong-un who had him assassinated. So, of course, the South Korea election did shake up the U.S.-North Korea dynamic, and KCNA last week described the alleged plot in great detail, which I covered on last night's show. They alleged it was hatched in 2014 with South Korean and U.S. intelligence agencies recruited North Korean working in the timber industry in eastern Russia. Further contacts were made over subsequent years, and the assassination attempt was to have taken place at a military parade. Of course, the news agency did not report when the alleged plot was stopped. Now, North Korea says it has the right to ruthlessly punish detained Americans. This is why I say do not go to North Korea, kids. It ain't worth it. I mean, do you really want to meet quackers? I don't. What's that, host kitty? Oh, is that your message for quackers? I'm sure he'll see it. No, he probably won't, but it's fun to think so. Alright, North Korea is threatening U.S. citizens detained in the country, saying it has the right to ruthlessly punish them. This comes after the Hermit Kingdom announced it detained a fourth U.S. citizen. Kim Hak-sung, a Korean-American who taught at Pyongyang University of Science and Technology, was arrested by North Korean authorities last Saturday for unspecified hostile acts. Also detained in the country are Otto Warmber, a college student arrested in 2016 who was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor for trying to take a piece of North Korean propaganda back home for a church friend. Tony Kim, a Korean-American professor, arrested in April after teaching accounting for a month at Pyongyang University of Science and Technology. And Kim Dong-chol, a businessman arrested in 2015 who is serving a 10-year sentence for espionage. Pyongyang state-run media, KCNA, said the crimes committed by the most recent detainees would soon be disclosed, adding that the U.S. statements that the arrests were simply being used as bargaining chips are pure ignorance. Well, I'm sorry, they've always released him after we send somebody high-valued and of high enough stature over there. So why would this be any different, North Korea? Kim Jong-un, you're just off your rocker. U.S. government, as a reminder, has no diplomatic or consular relations with North Korea. We have no means to provide normal consular services to U.S. citizens there. We do work through, I think it's the Swedish embassy there. However, those visits are often delayed or postponed or just flat out not granted. So, don't do it. Don't go to Pyongyang. Would I love to go walk the streets of Pyongyang? Sure. For now, not gonna happen. Reunified Korea? I'll be on the first plane to Pyongyang so I can see what it is before it changes. Now, North Korea has a history of making bombastic propaganda featuring unfounded claims. Of course, there's always the claim of the South Korea American exercises as being preparation for war against Korea. Well, they also claimed that a U.S.-Australian military exercise in northern Australia was preparation for nuclear war against North Korea. Oh, yes. And they threatened a potential retaliatory strike. For its part, South Korea has admitted to having plans in place to kill Kim Jong-un. However, they deny anything with an assassination plot. The Joint Chiefs of Staff has prepared a system called the Korea of Massive Punishment and Retaliation that would involve surgical missile attacks, exclusive special warfare units, and the ability to strike North Korea's leadership if South Korea feels threatened by nuclear attack. But this doesn't mean we're actually going to try and sneak someone into the country or try and bribe someone to assassinate Kim Jong-un. I mean, really? Kim Jong-un actually thinks we're going to, either the United States or South Korea is going to extradite anyone to him? He's just playing quackers, kids. Alright. Moving right along. We're going to stay in the Asia-Pacific region. Have you heard about the China One Belt thing? One Belt, One Road? Well, it's actually kind of huge. And it sounds like China's trying to create a new world order. Oh, yes. Now, no one's totally sure. At the most basic level, One Belt, One Road is a collection of interlinking trade deals, infrastructure projects throughout Eurasia and the Pacific. But the definition is a bit fuzzy. It starts with China wanting to build a runaway, wanting to build literally a train line from China all the way to Europe. Oh, yeah. So, let's talk about that. Alright, and I'm trying to read this while I roll. There are 68 countries involved in One Belt, One Road. Afghanistan, Albania, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Belarus, Bhutan, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Brunei, Bulgaria, Cambodia, Croatia, Czech Republic, Egypt, Estonia, Ethiopia, Georgia, Hungary, India, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Kyrgyzstan, Laos, Latvia, Lebanon, Lithuania, Macedonia, Malaysia, Maldives, Moldova, Mongolia, Montenegro, Myanmar, Nepal, New Zealand, Oman, Pakistan, Palestine, Philippines, Poland, Qatar, Republic of Korea, Romania, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Serbia, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Syria, Tajikistan, Thailand, Timor-Leste, Turkey, Turkmenistan, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, Uzbekistan, Vietnam, and Yemen. That's a list. So, that's a list of people all trying to do something. It may have been a there may have originally been a comprehensible thesis behind One Belt, One Road. It's become a really popular buzzword, and who knows what it's actually going to be. So, it's obviously a commerce trading thing, and it could also be used to smuggle money out of the country by disguising as international investments and partnerships. And there's two major parts. A road stretching from China to Europe encompassing a host of trading and infrastructure projects, and a sea-based network of shipping lanes and port developments throughout Asia and the Pacific. What does China stand to gain? Well, they've already invested approximately $1 trillion in One Belt, One Road, with another several trillion due to be invested over the next decade. What do they gain? Well, they want to make the smaller, more impoverished countries consumers of Chinese products. They want to open up more markets by helping people ship their goods around. What are the political benefits? Well, it's been compared to the Marshall Plan, the huge redevelopment initiative undertaken by the U.S. to rebuild Western Europe in the wake of World War II. Now, of course, Chinese state media says, no. China's new empire will be an informal and largely economic one, poised on cash and held together by hard infrastructure. Beijing said the project is more like a diplomatic effort for China to win friends and influence people, rather than a strictly economic program. And I do know I am coming up on the top of the hour, and I got to make my way out of here. But I got make that 2 last stories. Got to get all the country names in here tonight. An Iraqi official says the country's Shiite-led militia forces launched an operation to retake a small village held by Daesh west of the embattled city of Mosul. Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, who heads the government-sanctioned militia force known as Popular Mobilization Unit, says the push began in the early hours of Friday morning and aims to further several supply lines in and out of Mosul. Iraqi Army, Federal Police, and Special Forces backed by the U.S.-led coalition are slowly retaking territory in Mosul, where Daesh remains in control of a small cluster of neighborhoods in the city's western half. But the fall is coming, kids. That's what's going to happen in Mosul. At least to Daesh. Alright. One more story. And hey, Doc, listen up. The first shipment of New Zealand meat to Iran in more than a decade will be sent later this month. Wellington Company Taylor Preston will send the shipment after Primary Industries Minister Nathan Guy oversaw an agreement to allow frozen sheep and beef exports to resume. Iran has the second largest economy in the Middle East and North Africa region. The nation is heavily reliant on food imports and took 1/4 of New Zealand's sheep exports in the 1980s. In February, New Zealand lifted sanctions against Iran after it agreed to roll back its nuclear ambitions. Over time, this could become a significant market for particularly lamb, but in the future it could be beef as well. It was a tough year for sheep farmers, so these significant market access opportunities will be warmly received. It's a 6-month trial also to send meat to China. Hey Kiwis, what you doing? Alright, as I'm wrapping up here, yes, I covered some of the real news today, but I came on air for one thing. Thank you, military spouses, from one of your sisters. I thank you, and even though your nation does not provide you enough thanks, I hope that my few words of gratitude will. Well, on that note, as a reminder, you can find me on Jessie's POV at Twitter, and you can shoot me an email at the station, jessiespov@klrnradio.com. And tonight's episode of Robinson and Wright is not one to be missed. I'm out of here!
They also serve those who stand and wait, praying by the phone to learn their loved one's fate. But they're still in the war, and let there be no mistake. They also serve those who stand and